Good morning, students. Welcome to the third class of biology on the chapter Cell. In today's class, we are going to talk about what is the cell basically made up of. We all know that cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. So now, slowly we are proceeding towards its structure. So we must know that a cell is made up of a tiny mass of protoplasm. So let's proceed to the next slide. Cell is a tiny mass of protoplasm which is surrounded by a membrane and is capable of performing all the functions of life. So a typical cell basically has got three parts: the plasma membrane, or the cell membrane as it is also called. Then we have the nucleus, which is placed centrally, or in case of plant cell it is placed towards the side as the central part is occupied by a vacuole. And then the cell is also made up of cytoplasm. So in this slide you can see the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. The cell membrane, which is shown here in green color. So what is a cell membrane? It is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment, and it allows the entry and exit of materials in and out of the cell. It also prevents the movement of other materials, unwanted materials inside, and therefore the cell membrane is also called as a selectively permeable membrane. And the cell membrane is supposed to be very flexible and is made up of organic molecules, what is mainly the proteins and the lipids. Now here you can see the molecular structure of the cell membrane is shown. So this is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents from its external environment. So this cell membrane is the outermost covering that separates your contents of the cell from the outer environment, and it allows the entry and exit of only some materials, selected materials, and therefore it is also called as a selectively permeable membrane. Now this is the molecular structure of the plasma membrane, and the best part of it is that this can be explained with the help of fluid mosaic model. So plasma membrane is a living ultra-thin, elastic, selectively permeable membrane that appears as a mere line under the light microscope. However, its detailed molecular structure can be studied under an electron microscope, and under the electron microscope it looks like this. Basically, all the plasma membranes are composed of proteins, lipids, and small fractions of carbohydrates. Fine structure of plasma membrane as revealed by the electron microscopic studies appears to be in three layers. It is a trilamellar membrane. It is having three layers. So this model is the most recent and accepted model. The model which is shown in this picture. It was proposed by Singer and Nicholson in the year 1972. According to this model, the cell membrane is made up of a lipid bilayer and two types of protein molecules. The lipid bilayer forms highly viscous fluid in which the two types of protein molecules are embedded. Two types of protein molecules are basically the intrinsic proteins and the extrinsic proteins. They are all organized in a mosaic manner. Intrinsic proteins are embedded in the lipid bilayer completely or incompletely, whereas the extrinsic proteins, they occur superficially. The proteins that occur in the plasma membrane, they are basically of two types: the extrinsic proteins and the intrinsic proteins. Extrinsic proteins have a property that they are soluble and therefore dissociate from the membrane, while the intrinsic proteins are insoluble and so they rarely dissociate, they cannot dissociate. The intrinsic proteins are partially embedded either on the outer surface or on the inner surface of the bilayer, while the extrinsic proteins, they occur superficially. The lipid matrix of the membrane has a fluidity, and that permits the membrane components to move laterally. The fluidity is very important for the performance of a number of functions, and that is what makes the membrane highly flexible. So this plasma membrane is also called as a quasi-fluid structure. That is also known as a quasi-fluid structure. So that is the main fact behind the highly flexible nature of the plasma membrane. Now let us talk about the functions. What all work does the plasma membrane do? It actually gives definite shape to the cell. It separates the contents of the cell from its surrounding medium. It provides mechanical barrier for the protection of the internal contents of the cell. It is selectively permeable. It protects the cell from injury. It forms organelles within the cytoplasm. Its junctions keep the cells together. It keeps the cell contents in place and prevents them from mixing with the extracellular materials. So can we say that it maintains the individuality of the cell? So these are the various functions that the plasma membrane has in the body of a cell. Now let us proceed to the next slide. Now we talk in this slide about the different ways by which transport of materials happen in the cell membrane. So it can be in various ways, like your active transport or the passive transport. First we talk about the passive transport. Passive transport is of two types: diffusion and osmosis. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is the process of the movement of substances, maybe a solid or a liquid or a gas, from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration till it spreads uniformly in the given space that is provided. From this picture it is very clear that the movement of substances is happening from a region of higher concentration. Right hand side you can see the concentration is higher. It is shown in the form of molecules, and the other side it is lower. So the movement happens from the right side to the left side. This picture you can see how the concentration is spreading slowly across the entire solution, how the color is spreading. So diffusion in case of a gas is shown over here, that it takes from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. In this slide we talk about the importance of diffusion. So what is the importance of diffusion? We need to know. It helps in the spread of different substances throughout the cytoplasm of the cell. With the help of diffusion, the different substances spread all throughout the cytoplasm. And next topic we are going to take up osmosis. So you will know that Osmosis is also a type of diffusion where only the solvent is allowed to diffuse. Diffusion helps in the exchange of respiratory gases between the cells and their environment. Transpiration, which occurs in nature in the leaves, is also a diffusion process only. Flowers spread their aroma through diffusion to attract insects and other animals for pollination. So we find that diffusion phenomena has widespread application in our life and also in nature. Now let us talk about the term osmosis, which is another form of passive transport. So osmosis is defined as the diffusion of water or any solvent molecules across a semi-permeable membrane from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So plasma membrane actually functions as a semi-permeable membrane in case of living organisms. So here you can see in this picture, the water molecules are present in the side, and here the sucrose molecule is present. So here the concentration of water is more and here it is less. So here what happens? Water will move from the side to this side till the concentration of the molecules become uniform. So this is an demonstration of the process of osmosis. Osmosis is basically of two types, endosmosis and exosmosis. What is endosmosis? It is osmotic entry of water into the cell or the system, and exosmosis is the exit of water or the withdrawal of water from the cell or the system. When we place the cell in higher concentration, the water comes out of the cell by a process called exosmosis. When we place the cell in a lower concentration, the water enters into the cell by a process called endosmosis. So exosmosis and endosmosis, these are the two ways or the two types of osmosis which happens in the plant or the animal kingdom. Now in this slide you can see how the movement of water is happening from a region of higher water concentration to the region of lower water concentration, and that is through a semi-permeable membrane. This side it is lower. This side the sugar concentration is low, so water concentration is high. And this side the sugar concentration is more, the water concentration is less. So water molecules will move from this side to this side. So this is an example of osmosis. Now if we talk about the solutions, then osmotic solutions can be of three types. Osmotic solutions are those solutions which cause osmosis. So they can be of three types. They can be hypotonic solution, isotonic solution, or hypertonic solution. So what is hypotonic solution? Hypotonic is the one in which the osmotic concentration is lower than another solution. That is, its concentration level is low. Hypertonic solution is the one where the osmotic concentration is higher than the other solution or surrounding solution. And isotonic solution is the one where the osmotic concentrations are similar to one another. In this you can see in this picture, this is the cell. Here the cell is, in this side you see the concentration is hypotonic and this side it is hypertonic. So the movement of molecules will happen from the hypotonic to the hypertonic solution in case of osmosis. Here you can see it is isotonic, both the sides, the concentration level is same. So actually there would be actually no movement of molecules. In this picture you can see this side it is hyper and this side it is hypo. So from the hypo to the hyper side, the water molecules will start moving. In this slide you can see the hypertonic solution shown over here. When the medium surrounding a cell has lower concentration of water than that in the cell, it is said to be in hypertonic. Water crosses the membrane in both the directions, but this time more water leaves the cell than with that which enters it. Therefore, what happens? The cell will shrink. Then we talk about the hypotonic solution. In this, the surrounding solution has a higher water concentration than that of the cell. So water molecules are free to pass across the cell membrane in both the directions, but more water will come into the cell than it will leave. So the net result is that the water enters the cell and the cell is very likely to swell up. In this picture you can see the isotonic solution demonstrated. When the medium surrounding a cell has the same concentration of water as that in the cell, it is said to be isotonic. Water crosses the cell membrane in both the directions, but the amount going in is the same as the amount going out. So there is no overall movement of water. The cell will stay in the same size. So after the discussion of these three types of solution and on the talks on your diffusion and osmosis, we are in a position to compare the two processes, that is diffusion and osmosis. So what is diffusion? It is the movement of molecules of solid, liquid or gas, and in osmosis it is only the movement of solvent molecules happening. Diffusion process can occur in any medium, as I have already said, solid, liquid or gas, whereas osmosis happens only in the liquid medium. In diffusion, no membrane is required. In osmosis, semi-permeable membrane or diffused permeable membrane is needed. Diffusion takes place through high diffusion pressure to low diffusion pressure. Osmosis takes place through solution of low osmotic pressure to solution of high osmotic pressure. So in that way, the diffusion and osmosis process can be compared. So that's all for today. Thank you.